Hi everyone, it's Todd. So there's a couple of questions I received, and I wanted to get out of the way right away. Here, the answers. So here's the answers. One of them was, what are the two pictures behind me? Well, one picture is the French Fork Cove, Richard Howe painted. It's right there. He was a Canadian artist and actually lived. He was my next door neighbor when I was growing up. He's a fine old gentleman, really super nice gentleman. And he painted a lot of the local scenes. He was a landscape artist. And the other one is my elephant my wife bought me on the Serengeti. Big bull elephant. And it's a print, and elephants are supposed to be good luck, so we haven't won the lottery yet, so just putting that out there, for the universe. We're waiting. Anyways, I told you tonight, I said tonight I would be telling you one of my stories of when I was driving around North America. And I call this one the West Texas Witch. Now, this story is probably the one I don't tell people as often, especially, and it's kind of strange that I'm actually built up the courage to tell everybody here today. The reason that is I wasn't alone. I was driving the truck by myself. I was by myself in my Kenworth. I had a big W900L at the time, and I was by myself in the truck. But I wasn't alone out in West Texas where this took place, and I mean it took place amongst all the pump jacks of West Texas. It was, if anybody's ever driven down through some of the smaller routes in West Texas and New Mexico and Oklahoma and that, they're sticking up out there like quills on a porcupine. They really are. Anyways, there was a young man. I never did get his age, and Cody was his name. Never got his last name. But he was a nice young man, well mannered. Like you could tell this young man grew up in a small town, had a mom and dad that cared a lot to teach him manners and so on and so forth. Anyways, I damn near run him over. Well, his pickup truck, he had an older, early '80s square body Chev pickup, and yeah, I damn near run him right over. And I got out of the truck. I was pretty hot. I was going to throttle him for a while because, I had kids at home, and being a father, the last thing you want to do is you don't want to see anybody hurt. And when a young man or lady does something foolish, you're not mad at them for the act. You're mad at them because they scared you. But as a truck driver, you're mad at them because of what would happen if it had been your kids. That it's that parent in you. Anyways, what had happened was I had delivered to Eunice, New Mexico, and nice spot. But when I got there to this place, it was again nice people, like nicest people. But they come out with this big forklift to lift this steel off, and it broke down with the forks on my deck. Under the piece of steel, he literally got it lifted up about 3 inches, and it shut off and set the steel back on my deck. And there we were. Lovely. So they called the serviceman, and who was a good chap. He come right out. He's about an hour, but he come out and fiddled around, got it going again. We got that piece of steel lifted off. We're all sitting there laughing about it, the owner of the place there is saying he's going to have to buy me lunch for not kicking or screaming or throwing a fit. And I'm like, well, you know, life's too short for that. And buy me lunch and it's all good. I'm kind of a chubby guy. We're good. Well, the poor forklift operator, and I'll never forget this guy. And they called him Denny. And he went back for the second lift and the damn forklift shut off again. Well, now he's upset. I'm still snickering about it because the service guy's still here. So the service guy goes back and he looks it all over and he's faddling around. He's like, oh my God, I need this part. I got to go get this part. So they're like, all right. So he takes off in a service truck. He's gone about an hour and he comes back. He's got the part. He puts it on. Faddles around some more. Now it's about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And this is in January. So it's getting dark early. So he gets it all fixed up and he does a good job, and bang, 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 the rest of the load comes off. You know, they sign the bill of lading and all that, and the owner's like, you know, God, I got to take you out to supper. At least let me buy you supper. And I'm like, all right, let me buy supper. So we go out there and we go in a nice restaurant and we have a bit of supper, go back, jump in the truck, and I already know I got to be in Abilene, Texas. So now I'm heading east. So I'm heading east on Route 176. And as you head east, you go through. Anyways, at the Texas line, there's this big landfill. For the life of me, I can't remember the name of the landfill. But you know when you're coming into Texas, because there's pump jacks, and then all of a sudden there's this big blank area, and that's landfill. And then there's pump jacks, and you're in Texas. Anyways, I stopped at the Love's Truck Stop. Fuel up. That way there, when I hit Abilene, you know, I'm going to be good for heading further east. I know I'm going to be loading out and heading probably up to Ontario, or that's more than likely where. So off I go. So I stay on 176. Now it's night, it's dark. And I'm blowing along, and I'm trying to get to this town called Andrews. And then from Andrews, you stay on the 176. But at Big Springs, you jump on I-20 to Abilene, which is, you know, the interstate I-20 and that, and you know, everything's good. Now, everybody will tell you, oh, it doesn't get cold in Texas. Well, I'm going to tell you something. West Texas, out in the desert, the scrub, there's not much to retain the heat there. Sand and all that other stuff. Now, it doesn't get cold to the standards I'm used to. And I mean, I lived in the Arctic for a while, and I work in, you know, I've worked in Alberta where it's 40 below, 45. I mean, Peace River, I've seen it as cold as minus 50. And Saskatchewan, with the wind howling across that flat province, it's brutal. But I mean, West Texas people that live down there, it would be cold to them. Now, 9 times out of 10, I'll put on like a sweatshirt, or might even just put on like a t-shirt and a button-up shirt, flannel shirt, and I'm good to go. I've seen people used to laugh at me down there. In January, I'm wearing shorts, pumping fuel. And people look at me. Yeah, I have jeans and all that other stuff, but you know, being a bigger man, jeans tend to hem you in a little bit when you're sitting driving all day. So a pair of shorts and you know, not tacky shit. You know, nice shorts, short pants. I had one fella there tease me in Texas about my short pants one day. He said, I haven't worn them since I was a little guy. And I looked at him, and he was all about 5'8", and about 140 pounds. And I'm 6 foot tall, and at times 300 pounds. I looked down at him, I said, well, to me, you're still a little guy. We laughed about it when I had coffee. Anyways, we were sitting there, and so I'm running along 176 out in the middle of nowhere, and these pump jacks just going up and down West Texas. And there's a dirt road. Now I'm heading east. There's a dirt road to, like, you know, it's south. And it comes to a T intersection at 176. And I'm watching this vehicle, and it's just booting along, coming along. And Never thought nothing of it, but I'm watching them just because that's what truck drivers do. We watch for other vehicles because we trust no one. Not driving. It's almost beat into you by other truck drivers and the stories you've heard and things you've seen that you just can't trust that other driver. They're going to do something, they don't see you, they're tired, daydreaming, playing on their phone nowadays. Like, it's just, you can't trust them. Anyways, I watched this guy, this car, this other vehicle come along, and sure enough, I'm like, okay, you really need to be lifting out of the throttle right about now. I'm watching him and I'm watching him and I'm getting a bad feeling, so I kind of pull up out of the throttle a little bit, and, because I'm running a little quicker than I should have been. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I was an angel. I mean, I was running along, well, it was, I want to say 5 to 8 miles an hour over the speed limit. It was more probably like 8 to 12 miles an hour over the speed limit. So I pulled up out of the throttle, kind of kept watching him, and the brake lights come on, and I, hallelujah. But he realizes he's coming to a stop sign. So I never thought nothing of it. I watched the brake lights come on, and then all of a sudden the brake lights went out. I'm like, oh, he's a brake pumper. Brake lights never come back on. And I'm like, uh-oh. So now I reach over and snap my jakes on. They start moaning out the song of the Caterpillar. And the brake lights come on. And I'm like, well, I'm still not going to trust you now because you're close. Like, you're going to be awfully close. So the jakes are hitting. Now I've cut the top gear. I've dropped a gear. And all of a sudden, the brake lights go out. And I see he almost like he speeds up. Now I'm in a panic. I'm on the other side of the road, hard on the brakes, laying on the horn. Because if he doesn't make that turn, it's all over. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing other short of moving the earth that's going to save his life. And I sat there, and the young fella must have realized right at the last second that I wasn't going to be able to get out of his way. And you can talk to everybody you want to talk to. And a lot of people have this misconception that a truck driver needs to put that truck off the road to save your life, to avoid an accident. Now, most truck drivers will for children. If they see a school bus or something along them lines, they'll do everything to avoid it. The insurance companies will tell you to not leave the road. And if you do, make sure you take a big enough chunk of whatever vehicles caused it that they cannot drive away. Well, when you're dealing with tractor trailers, a big enough chunk of vehicle that they cannot drive away usually mean there's a fatality on the other side. But commercial insurance companies have seen it too many times where the person drives off and the cops have nothing else, at the time, have nothing else to go on other than, well, what the hell did you do, driver? Now, with the advent of dash cams and everything else, that's changing. Because you cause an accident, you drive off now as a four-wheeler, down in the States, you're going to jail. Here in Canada, it's bad. And, it's not good, but the young fella, he must have realized, because he locked that Chev up. And when he did, it gave me just enough time that I got the truck around him. before he hit the pavement. Now, when he hit the pavement, he went into the ditch on the other side of the road, tail first. Now, I'm already braking hard, and I'm going to bring it to a stop because I know he can't get out of that. So I did. I got it to the right, back over to the right-hand side of the road, the proper lane I was supposed to be in. I threw my oversized beacons on my four-ways, hopped out of the truck. Like I said, I was pretty angry. And I run back. And I said to, like, when I pulled the door open, I was, what the hell are you doing, you dumb shit? And he kind of looked at me and he said, oh, you got to get me out of here right away. I said, buddy, you're not moving. Like, I'm going to call the cops. And he said, you didn't see that. And I said, see, like, what? See what? He said, that woman. I said, what woman? I was busy looking at you, trying to avoid killing you. I didn't see any woman. Did you hit her? Like, I was scared. There was a hitchhiker there dressed like in dark clothes that he struck. And I was about ready to start running around looking for this poor woman when he said, no, she was in the air. And I looked at him. I said, what are you talking in the air? I said, man, are you high? He looked at me and like he was scared. He was shaking. No, he said, I'm not high or drunk. He said, I saw a woman floating in the air. And I kind of looked at him and I'm like, okay, well, I'm pretty open-minded. I'm an open-minded guy. And we were sitting there talking and I said, well, you're going to have to explain to me how you managed to see a woman floating in the air. And I said, I'm not hauling you out of here, getting you back on the road till you tell me. So he told me what he saw, and I'm sitting there and talking to him, and I said, well, do you got a tow strap? If not, I got enough chain to get you out. Like, as long as nobody coming, like we can get this done quick. And he said, oh yeah. He said, no. He said, I don't have any tow straps or nothing. And we went to my truck, and I give him a big long chain, and we were walking back to his truck, and then like all these pump jacks, so you can hear the pump jacks going up and down. You can hear that sound, but something screamed. And I'm telling you, I've heard rabbits attacked by coyotes. I know what a rabbit sounds like when it screams. It'll convince you there's a child out there. I've heard bobcats scream, lynxes. I've heard lynx scream. That'll convince you there's a woman out there. But there's no lynx down in Texas, I don't think. Anyways, we were sitting there and we heard that. And we spent a lot of time looking around because I was instantly convinced that the woman he saw floating in the air she tried to jump out of the way or something and he hit her. We checked the ditches probably for half a mile on either side of the road up and down. There was nothing. And we were walking back to the truck again and something passed over us. Don't know what it was. Heard the scream a second time. I was that scared when I pulled him out of the ditch. It's a wonder I didn't yank that Chev right in half or stretch it out. But I got him back on the road. I threw the chain into the chain bucket on the trailer and left. And I didn't stop until I hit Abilene. I hit I-20. I was never so happy to see 4 lanes and well lit signs. And I got to Abilene. I went to my customers where I was picking up. I sat there. I didn't sleep all night. I just sat in the truck trying to figure out the hell we got involved in out there. But I met a gentleman some months after that in Texas, on one of the First Nations or Native reservations. And I told him that we got into in that, and he said a lot of that land was native land, and when they discovered oil on it, it wasn't good for the natives. A lot of natives were killed, and he said we might have come across the spirit of a native woman who had been murdered along with her family, and being two big white guys, might have just happened at the right time of year, at the right time of night. Who knows what we got into, but I know for a fact there was the spirit of woman out in West Texas that night. And she wasn't happy with either one of us, and I wasn't happy with that young fella, but yeah, he turned out to be one of the nicest young men you'd ever want to know. And he, I don't know whatever happened to him. Never kept in contact, didn't get his number, his emails, or anything like that. Just met, and I hope he did all right for himself. Oh, whatever he got up to. Anyways, that's what I call the West Texas Witch. And I still don't, to this day, I wouldn't run down 176 if you paid me to. And they were paying me to run down 176. And I wouldn't do it. Still won't. Nope. So I'm going to leave off with that. Tomorrow night, the 23rd, I'm going to read another letter I got in my email sent to me by a woman and her wife. So stop back in tomorrow night, and I'm going to read the letter. And I think this week I'm going to go to another abandoned graveyard, and Della and I are going to go for a stroll around it and see what we can find. Or it might be Logan, hard to say. Anyways, thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good night.